I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I've already stated that in previous videos. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I love the Star Wars The Old Republic games, the KOTOR games as well. Jedi Fallen Order was just marvelous. Hi everybody, welcome back. Welcome to my channel if you're new here. My name is Kilian and today we're going to be reacting to the Star Wars The Old Republic lore timelines. So, this is a video that was suggested by one of you guys in the comments. I have already reacted to the SWTOR cinematic trailers. If you haven't seen my commentaries more really yet, you can go check them out here. This video is 50 minutes long. I'm not gonna waste any more time, but first of all, yeah, so let's go. Yes, okay, so I believe this is a series that was narrated by, yes, Master Nosdural. Yes, that's it. So this is really interesting because not only, well, this series, but all of this Star Wars history has kind of been rhythmed by the Sith, in fact. Yeah, so this is pretty impressive what the Sith Emperor had done by the time, hiding from the Republic and the Jedi. Peace was the only hope for everybody. Like I stated in my reactions, the Sith were always also in dear need of a, as I stated in my previous reactions as well, peace was only the only solution possible because the Sith also were in dire need of a peace treaty because they were running low on resources and everything. Which is why, by the way, the Sith, even though they won the peace treaty of Coruscant, they never subjugated the Republic completely.
Sacking of Coruscant was not the crowning moment of the Empire's campaign, but rather a risky maneuver undertaken after all other efforts had failed.
Yes, it was a poker gambling. It was almost a kamikaze operation from the Sith Empire. So the alliance between Mandalorians and the Sith Empire has always been historical, really. Well, first of all, it's a little bit nourished by values, you know, of surpassing yourself and that they have in common in a certain way, but it's mostly because the Sith promised the Mandalorians, you know, a certain freedom of action and of recognition and liberty in their rather violent lifestyle that the Republic wouldn't necessarily, not that the Republic was opposed to it, but the Republic wasn't really in line with this way of living. Yes, so Hylo V, she gets to become a companion in the SWTOR game. Mandalorians were really remarkable fighters, but in my opinion, they were terrible strategists. It was all about just going in, you know, just like, let's go fight. Some may have tactics, you know, but she wasn't. So if you didn't understand, I'm not a big fan of Mandalorians of this era.
It makes them undeniably dangerous. However, we must acknowledge
stupid as well.
Self-improvement is not
Sorry, I'm gonna stop that. I'm gonna stop hating on the Mandalorians. Promise. I'll try. What I could say good about the Mandalorians is truly their sense of honor and legacy. That is pretty honorable. They have a certain integrity, but sometimes I'm not gonna hate. Oh, the music.
I will endeavor to find clues to this enigma for my next report.
If I'm not mistaken, if I remember well, we do encounter Nosdural at some point on the Ossus or something like that in the game. Something like that, I believe. Yeah, so what is not stated right now, because obviously it is narrated from a Jedi's point of view, but there was a Mandalorian enclave at the Sith Citadel, Dromund, the Empire's capital city. The enclave was just a place to really officialize and recognize the bond between the Sith and the Mandalorians. The Imperial intelligence had the biggest task force at the time, like the spy networks were even vaster than the republics at that time. It was the most powerful intelligence force. It is the ultimate, and it's still the biggest, I believe, because to my recollection, Palpatine's intelligence wasn't nearly as big as this one.
For the sacking of drugging their champions competition, none could stand against him.
Yes. So I do not recall. So yes, so I do not. I'm not sure which Mandalore they're talking about here, because I'm not that familiar with the Mandalorian history as much as I am with the Jedi and the Sith. But are they talking about Mandalore the Ultimate then? I think that's something. Yeah, so the Mandalorians at that time were really just extensions and
which now paralyzes the Republic.
undercover puppets of the Empire.
Has taken his place.
Oh,
Whether or not he's another
Mandalore the Avenger. I might got this all mixed up because they're not giving the names, and I'm just trying to figure out, given the outfit they're giving us. As I said, I'm not that familiar with the Mandalorian history. Yeah, so it's really interesting how the Emperor's attention shifted from subjugating the Republic and achieving Sith domination over the galaxy to his own. Well, that was like a step by step, you know, but he really went from being the exemplary emperor and the almighty emperor to really this individual removed from politics, seeking immortal life for himself and being really absent from anything to be done with the Sith Empire. Because of course, on the side he had the Eternal Empire, but yeah. So this is really interesting because the Sith were all about being an offensive force, while the Jedi never really looked forward to reclaiming any of their worlds. They were just falling back again and again. So they were always a little bit overpowered by the Sith because it was never their initiative that a conflict would emerge. It was always because of the Sith and the Empire. So they were always taken a bit by surprise. And at the time, the Empire also had the best strategists of the galaxy. To be fair, the Sith Empire had prepared for this for 1,000 years almost, maybe. Okay, so I'm quite interested to see what Nosjural think he found out about the Emperor's plan. Of course, by the time I think these videos were made, not everything was known about the Sith Emperor, but now we know. So it would be interesting to see maybe how they tried to mislead the viewers. And that was the strength of the Empire, really being able to turn systems to become their allies, because they were promising a lot of things, and by conquest they were able to deliver what they had promised. Yeah, not only were they seizing resources, but they were destroying the Republic forces as well. It's fun because it's like Masameda and the Sith were always victims of their own inner fighting, and turning that on the Republic itself was pretty clever. Not easy to engineer, but pretty clever strategy. He had seen what he had done to the previous Sith civilizations, and so if that destroyed them, that could destroy the Republic. Yeah, so as I was saying, everything here so far has just been talking about the Sith. Nothing really about the Republic and the Jedi. It's really just about the consequences of the Sith actions. Yeah, so that's funny because there was the Treaty of Coruscant, and then there was the Cold War. But there were skirmishes at some parts of the galaxy, like we just saw, but it is the Cold War.
a Sith army.
Yes, and the Sith can live. The original Sith, the Sith,
Followers to heinous experiments.
pure blood, or can live centuries. There are hundreds of records about masters and apprentices exploring Sith temples.
Weeks later, Master O'Vare returned
One of
to
the
temple on Coruscant.
best known being Exar Kun's. It really happened a lot. Like, so Gint was turned by Nagasa Dao's teachings. Exar Kun's was turned by Freedom Nat's teachings.
On behalf of his true master, the Dark Emperor of the Sith.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Spirits of the ancient Sith
Learning new things,
would
that's
be a
good.
threat to his power.
Yeah, so Vitiate is really ancient. Like, the Sith Emperor is really ancient. And he lived at the same time as Nagasa Dao. That's because, so Nagasa Dao led the Sith into battle during the Great Hyperspace War. And if that's the name. I always get the names all mixed up. But the war just before the SWTOR era, at the end of KOTOR, but in between KOTOR and SWTOR. And while Nagasa Dao's empire fell, Vitiate fled with the surviving Sith to Dromund Kaz. So that's why he was then afraid of the ancient Sith, and because he was seeking immortal life, he was fearing that there could be a drawback to his plans.
The Jedi and the Republic. How
And of course, Nagasa Dao was not
terrible truth about
having it. You know, it was
more than a
Nagasa Dao was like an emperor
Of course, this revelation only raises
who promoted Ishalazanism to a certain point,
O'Vare and his family involved.
but it was all really about being the Sith.
Next report.
So, well, all the Sith are. So, well, all the Sith are. It's not a surprise.
Representatives to return to
I got mixed feelings about Revan as well.
Darth Revan,
I'll maybe elaborate that later on.
assisting the Republic.
A Yoda species. Okay, so I'm not sure about the
Revan's
visuals.
success in defeating the Mandalorians caused
If
the
this is just to be fancy, or this is supposed to represent exactly what happened at the time. Because,
after their crushing entirely, the
yes,
Sith Empire reborn.
yeah.
We know nothing of what transpired. A full-scale Sith invasion.
The story between Revan and the Sith Emperor is really just baffling to me. Like, this history is so mad.
New Sith Armada.
I don't understand really how in the end,
He would exact his
Vitiate lost everything because he, instead of continuing to be the exemplary Sith Emperor he was, he turned his attention to himself. And
grew quickly, though,
if he had
as they drew closer to the
kept
Star
this focus, the Sith Empire would have
visions
been
of their own empire.
the ruling force in the galaxy up until Palpatine's era.
Republic
Okay, yeah, so I just checked because I had a doubt. I said that Sada was defending isolationism. Isolationism? To a certain extent, but yeah, so I just checked because I said that Sada was defending isolationism to a certain extent, but yes and no. It was rather defending expansion, but the Sith Council at that time was really more about staying isolated from the rest of the galaxy because they felt they weren't ready. So, my bad.
He attacked Revan's ship and left his former master for dead.
What a surprise.
The Jedi found Revan to erase Revan's memory
Yes.
and retrain him as a Jedi.
So,
Working with Jedi Master Bashila
that shows the
recovered his strength
hypocrisy of
then
the
rescued
Jedi Council.
and destroyed, and Revan
And so that becomes the story of
but celebrated
KOTOR
as
as we
a hero.
know it.
Deep in Revan's lost memory.
Yeah, so just a pause here to talk about Revan. I said I had mixed feeling because Revan is seen like a hero, like a legend. It was more or less, to me, it was more or less, in my opinion, just a passive character of his own story because he was a Jedi. He fell to the Sith Emperor. Then the Jedi turned him back to good, and he fell again. And then he decided to, once he died, he decided as a ghost to reclaim his vengeance and everything, but he never really intended on any of that. It just happened, and he went with it without having any knowledge of the rest. Like, when he was a Jedi, he fell to the dark side, so there he was, but thousands of other Jedi had fallen before. Then when he turned back to Jedi, he had no knowledge of his background and his Sith history, so it was just okay. And then he fell again, and so that is why I have mixed feelings about Revan. Yes, that is a unique character. Yes, he lived a lot of things. Yes, he accomplished a lot of things, but he was never really intending on any of that. So it wasn't like he was a remarkable, I don't know, schemer or anything. He just... I'm sorry if you love Revan. He's okay to me. I recognize, the lore. I recognize the legacy that he left behind him. But to me, he's not just... He's no Vishek. He's no Nagasadao. He's no Nihilus. He's no... You know what I mean? He's no Dodo Crash. He just accomplished stuff because he happened to be there at that time and something needed to be done, and he... I guess that must be an unpopular opinion, but... Oh yes, and just to finish, Nosdural, so he doesn't know what happened to Revan. We do. If you've played KOTOR and if you've played SWTOR, then you know what happened to Revan. So Revan was, of course, seeking revenge from the Sith Emperor and both the Republic. He was eventually defeated by the Sith Emperor on Ziost. Then he came back as a ghost, and it's funny because in the game there is this line, your character gets to meet Revan like a 1000th time, and spoiler alert, sorry, and he says about Revan, he doesn't seem to want to stay dead, like, because it was all about, for Revan, seeking revenge from the Sith Emperor who wouldn't stay dead, but by doing so, Revan refused to stay dead himself, so it was a little bit funny.
Revan and Malik did not fall to the dark side in a single moment. Compelled them to enter the Mandalorian Wars.
So it's funny how Malik always had these
Of
blue
all
strips
wars
on his
in
head.
history, the war with the Mandalorians was the bloodiest, due in large part to the Mandalorians' ambitious leader.
And for those of you who may not know, this mask that Malak has is because his jaw is ripped off, so
To achieve
he has no
this,
jaw.
he had
Yeah.
to defeat the Republic and its Jedi protectors. Strength.
Okay, so this is Mandalorian Ultimate. I
Unleashing
got the
their
name all
full
mixed up.
might, the Mandalorians devastated the Republic.
You see, that's something about the Jedi, is that there is a conflict taking place in a part of the galaxy that is not involving them directly. They decide not to intervene, but eventually what transpires there is going to bite them in the ass at some point.
Determined to rally to the
And they never
Republic's
understood
defense. The Splinter Grenades and ended the war.
Yes,
Sacrificed
poor
the lives
Madako.
of thousands of
The
armies
music.
into deep
Oh
space.
god.
It
Hitting
was
you
there,
right in
of
the
course,
feels.
that Revan and
Damn
Malik
you, John
fought
Williams.
though it became a boon
In your
to the
journey
Imperial
towards the
land,
dark side will be
suspected
complete.
at the hand of the dark. The story of Exar Kun in my next report.
Yeah. Star Wars would have been a very boring universe with no Sith, right?
Traveling to the Onderon system, Kun encountered the spirit of the ancient Sith Lord Frieden Nad.
Yeah. Okay, so they're talking about it.
Jedi to where he might bow.
Love the
Nasazi
music as well.
captured Exar Kun and offered him as a sacrifice abandoned centuries earlier by Nagasadao.
Yes.
However,
Was it the meditation sphere?
Seeking to establish the Sith attacked the Jedi library.
So yeah, I really love
Roma struck down his
these
own
3,000 years of history, 2,000 years of history roughly.
destroyed.
Because there are a lot of layers, you know, of history. It's not like there's just one story to be told. There are several layers, several splinter groups, several kinds of dark side followers, different kinds of
The Republic drove Kuhn back to
tragedies.
war.
It's really a mess. If that is your first time, I don't know, seeing this or hearing about the Star Wars: The Old Republic era,
From what we know,
it's a mess.
remains there to this day. We have very little
Of course, the ancient Sith Lords were not supporting
Empire in exile. I will
the Sith
reveal
Emperor.
details we do have.
Much like the ancient Sith never supported, the ancient Sith never entirely supported Sidious for who he was, but they surely supported him for being their legacy, if you understand what I mean. Because of course they would have wanted to be at in Sidious places,
More than 1,000
but
years.
they were rejoicing, you know, for his victory, because his victory was the Sith victory.
The Sith challenge.
On a side note, that is what the chorus in the Sith theme and the Sidious theme are for. John Williams always said that it was thousands of years of Sith rejoicing for Palpatine's victory, for his ascendancy.
An empire destined to dominate
Vitiate
the
was
galaxy.
really good at
An empire
emboldening
destined to bring
people.
about the Republic's destruction.
That is how, in some capacity, he gained control over Medrias, his home world. Of course, he had a certain power. Of course, he enslaved them. He subdued them with his power, but he also emboldened them. And I didn't finish my sentence, did I? I don't remember. Yeah, because we're always talking about the Sith, but they were remarkable, non-sensitive individuals in the galaxy as well, both on the Republic and the Sith side.
Like a newt, I'll explain my theory in a subsequent report.
It's like Master Nosferatu is doing teasers, you know?
It was at this time.
Okay, so they're going to talk about the expansionism and isolationism,
Sadao seized this opportunity to gain
isolation thing.
The Sadao staged an attack
Gav,
to liberate the explorer,
Daragon, and
suggesting the
his
attack
sister,
was public military
I don't remember her
operation.
name. And he did so against the advice of
Including Coruscant
several Sith.
itself.
That technique of battle meditation is really truly remarkable. For those of you who don't know, the battle meditation is a state where the Sith is or are, if they're doing that in group, are going to embolden their troops with their own feelings through the Force, and filling with passion, hatred, anger, and by doing so, I don't know if they're going to talk about it. Let's see if they talk about it. If not, I'm going to talk about it later.
Invaders back.
Okay, yeah, so they're not talking about it. I'm going to talk about
Meditation sphere.
what I wanted to say about the battle meditation. So this was a genocide, basically. Vitiate really spent 1,300 years building the Sith Empire for their return.
We must conflict at the heart of the great hyperspace war, and the war we fight today began even before the Sith Empire rose to power. I'll elaborate in the next holo record.
Okay, so what I wanted to say about Nagasadao's battle meditation is that not only was that a ritual to embolden your troops, your army, but that was also a ritual that could perform illusions to the enemy. So what happened during this battle is that not only did Nagasadao embolden his own army, but he also paralyzed the Republican army with fear, because by performing the ritual, he basically created the illusion that the Sith Armada was thousands of times bigger than it truly was. So the Republic crumbled really under fear. But when Nagasadao's apprentice attacked his meditation sphere, the ritual was broken, and so the illusion fell. And so the Republic then attacked because they came to realize that this was fake. So that's it. So that was my reaction to the Star Wars The Old Republic timelines. Thank you very much for suggesting that video. I really enjoyed it. I definitely learned some new details about what happened and who and why. That was really pleasant. If you liked it, do not hesitate to tell me in the comments. Tell me what your favorite Star Wars era would be. That is definitely mine. Tell me what you thought maybe of certain battles, certain conflicts, certain characters. Maybe what you thought of my maybe unpopular opinions about the Mandalorians or Revan or such as. If you like that video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe. There is a lot more coming to the channel. I've recently just started watching Attack on Titans for the first time. I'm also going to be watching Cobra Kai for the first time. I think I'm going to be reacting to The Boys as well, and other shows, animes, and all of that. I don't know about the Star Wars content yet. I'm still waiting on The Bad Batch, of course. So there's going to be coming. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you want to come and embark on the journey with me, and I'll see you in the very next video. Thanks, bye.